Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here on Share Talk for Tuesday, the 28th of July. Starting off with the Amigo Holdings, which still looks like it's a stock in a sort of bear market rally type mode, giving these brief spikes and then falling back again rather painfully, so not for the faint-hearted. The last sort of debacle, I suppose, was that gap down last week through the 20-day moving average, and we really need to see an end-of-day close at least above that 20-day line, but preferably the yellow line there, which is the 34-day. And if you're really fussy, the 50-day moving average at 12.5. As you can see, the initial July peak failed at that particular feature. Otherwise, I suppose it's just down to brave bottom fishers looking for 5 or 6p as a place to go long or catch the falling knife. The other indicator which would be helpful would be the RSI back above neutral 50 versus 48 at the moment. So an end of day close with the RSI above 50 would at least suggest that we are potentially ready to go back into bull mode. A stock of the day, or stock of the day yesterday, I suppose, was Argo Blockchain, with Bitcoin going through 10,000 properly yesterday to start the week. Current situation is that we're much in the same position as we were last Thursday when I looked at the shares when they were 4.2 pence, i.e. we've broken above the 50-day moving average and looking to break the 200-day line. That's at 5.3 pence. So if we can break 5.3 and that feature on an end-of-day, end-of-week close basis, the target here would be up to 7.5. But I have to say, this has been a very heavy situation. It always appears that sellers come in onto any rally sort of upset at the post-IPO situation on that stock. Looking rather more interesting these days is Ascent Resources. I think I saw that Malky's joined the fray there, so that's probably the reason why shares have rocketed over the last 24 hours. The good news here is that we've broken that line of resistance from the beginning of June around the 2.7 pence level, so above that neckline resistance, looking for at least 3.5, and the best case scenario target here would be up to the top of the broadening triangle from February, as high as 6.5 pence, just near the 200-day moving average. But at least while we're above the 50-day line, around 2.5 pence, this is a bona fide recovery situation, and ideally an end-of-day close today above that June resistance line at 2.7 pence to get things going for Ascent after a long time in the wilderness. Bezant is next, just looking around to see what mining plays, mining minnows might be the next to catch the current positive wind for the whole sector. Here we see multiple support tests for Bezant at the 0.1 pence level. We can hold above that. I suppose a return to 0.15, 0.17. Which was late May resistance could be on the cards. But the overall flow here is that if this has been the low for the shares, the top of that rising trend channel from October, to retest last October's resistance at 0.34, 0.35 could be on the cards. But probably at this stage, if you're cautious, you wait for the 200-day moving average to be cleared at 0.14 pence on a weekly close basis before pressing the buy button. European metals is next. A beautiful gap to the upside today, breaking that post-November triangle. That was at 17 pence, so above 17 pence on an end-of-day close basis. And we could see the shares head up towards the top of last year's trend channel from basically this time last year, heading as high as 33 or 34 pence over the next month or two. But be nice to see a decent close also above that 18.5 pence June peak, just to show the bullish credentials or recovery credentials of the shares. Stock which looks like it likes flying around in both directions is Invinity Energy. Today we're looking for, after a little bounce off the 50-day moving average at 108, we're looking for an end-of-day close above that July resistance line at £1.20. If we can get that, then the shares would be opened up to the top of that trend channel from April, heading up towards the £2 level. Stop loss at the moment really back below the 50-day line at 108, and if you can afford it, back below 100 pence, which is that former May resistance line, now new support. Cadence back in form as well. Here you can see that the shares have bounced off a bit like Bezant. They bounced off a long-standing support line there, uptrend line there at 9 pence. The 50-day line at 8.5, and really while we're above 8.5, looking for further gains, hopefully towards the top of that rising trend channel from April up to 16 pence. Had a request for the next stock, which is Mosman Oil and Gas. I was looking to cover it anyway, but here we've had the request just goad me into action. Here we've got an uptrend line there from back in March, as many stocks have at the moment. That's at 0.1 pence, and while we're above 0.1, looking for the top of that rising trend channel that I've just drawn from March, heading up to 0.3 pence. If you're cautious on the shares, maybe wait for an end of day or end of week close above 0.15 pence, which is the 200-day moving average and initial July resistance for those shares. Big news today for Orphan, and we saw the shares actually gap through the 50-day moving average at 13 pence. That's normally one of our favourite buy signals, technical buy signals. We've had shares are also retesting the initial July resistance at 15 pence. So support for the stock really around the 12 pence level, as it has been for quite some time. A good end of day close today above the 50-day line could start to get the shares on the way to the big target here, which is the top of the broadening triangle that I've drawn from March, now heading as high as 26 pence. But obviously the initial target, while we hold above 12, is up to retest May resistance through 16 pence. Another Pharma situation today in the form of Ocuio. Here there was funding news at 8.5 pence, which seems to have gone down well in terms of the shares remaining above that level. Normally a positive fundamental signal when the shares of a stock remain above their funding price. Initial target here for Ocuio up to 15 pence on the top of that rising trend channel from February. Big picture target, and it looks as though that could be in play given the type of price action and the chart configuration we have. Big picture target on a 2 to 3 month view up to 35 pence at that 1 year resistance line projection. So above 15 up to 35, and at the moment only really back below the 20-day moving average, just under 8 pence, really delays the upside scenario. Finishing off with a mining stock, because they're all over the place at the moment, and we've got Xtract Resources. Here we've had a nice break quite a while now ago of that June resistance line around the 1.2 pence level. While we're above 1.2, and especially while we're above the 50-day moving average at 1.25, looking for the top of that rising trend channel from March up to 2.2 pence. That's it from me today. More updates tomorrow.